Hi, and welcome to Bits of Blender. I'm here with my boy Richard.
Hi.
And today we're going to talk about using the manipulator object. The manipulator is this object here, so that what it allows you to do is you can click on, for example, left click on the green arrow, click and drag, and it restricts it to that axis. So for example, clicking on the red arrow will restrict it to the x-axis. And that's nice if you're looking at it from a funny viewpoint. For example, if you want to restrict it to the z-axis, just pull on the blue arrow, or the y-axis, even though you're looking at it from an odd angle. You can also click right in the center here, and then it'll just move it right along both axes. So you can just left click and drag. That's for you folks who aren't used to the using the right-clicking. Now you can use keyboard shortcuts to do these. So for example, I can type G, X, and move it along the x-axis.
That's G for move or go, and X move along the x-axis.
And then and you can do that at different angles as well. But we're talking about the manipulators, and that's this guy here. So if I turn that off, you'll see a lot of Blender folks turn that off and use the shortcut keys. So turning that on, you can also do a transformation, for example, a rotation. And you'll see that you now get these colored circles for doing rotation, and I can left click and drag to rotate around the x-axis, for example.
Yeah, red is X, and Y is green, and so forth. A color resembles the letter.
That's right. Now, you also can scale, and each time, you notice now this, you got the little squares at the end instead of the arrows. So I can scale just along the x-axis, or just along the y-axis, and that's pretty handy. And a neat thing that might not be obvious is you can actually shift select so that you have both the arrows for moving and the
lines for rotating.
Yeah, and I could even include the scale. So I can have scaling, moving, and rotating all active on the screen at the same time.
That's really cool. That's like awesome.
Alright, now I also want to show you that what we're doing is when we're doing all these transformations, we're doing it in the global space. You know, the global space where you see your X, Y, and Z axes here. You can switch it to local space, and then that's the axis for the object, which right now I didn't move this object yet, so it's the same as the global space. But if I rotate the object, you'll see now its arrows are pointing, like for example I rotate a little bit, so the object z-axis is up here. Well, that's pretty handy, especially if you think of, like, say I want to scale it now. I can click on the scale and scale it right along its z-axis.
And there's a key command for that.
There's a key command for that too. You can do S for scale, and if I just do X, or I'm sorry, Z, that's the global z-axis. That's not what I want to do. If I do S for scale and then do ZZ, then I'm going along the local z-axis, regardless of what we're on here. And for example, I can go, let's see, we'll rotate it like this, and I'll say R for rotate, and then XX for along the object's local x-axis.
Yeah, and that's really helpful if you just want a shortcut to it. And just the thing itself is really helpful.
And we've also got now normal. Well, normal, a good example of that would be, let's say we're in edit mode, and let's switch to face select, and I click on this face. let me just rotate this face a little bit in a weird way. You'll see that this here is reflecting the local axis still, no matter how I rotate this face, right? And if I switch it to global, you'll see it's still the global. But if I switch to normal, now it's the normal of the selected faces, which I have one face selected right now. So now I can like move this, or I'm scaling. Let me switch over to moving, and turn my manipulator back on. So now I can move it based on the normal of the selected object, or the selected face. So for example, if I really want to start with a fresh, clean cube here. So I'm going to tab to get into it. I'll switch over to normal, and then let's do face select. And what I can do is I can extrude it here. And let's say I want to rotate it. Now you notice how this is pointing off the face. So I can drag it a little bit further. And it's going relative to the normal for this face.
Mm-hmm.
And I can turn on draw normals to see all the normals for all the faces. So you could see when I turn this on, when I select this, you can see the little manipulator dealie is going right along the blue, the normal. So that's handy. So, you know, extrude right along the normal.
Yeah, the normals are the blue things, right?
Yep. These blue things are showing what direction the normal is to the face of the object. So this is perpendicular to this face.
Yeah.
And our last is the view. And you'll see the manipulator change again. And that's based on the view. So no matter where I'm at, I'm looking at front, side, view. I'm moving it based on what I'm looking at. The viewports. I'm holding my hand up like you can see this. The viewport's actual two-dimensional coordinates. I like never use that one. But this one's handy. And the neat thing about this is notice that for all these, for global, local, and view, this circle is a bright white. When you switch to normal, you can see it's like a light gray. And that is, I use that as like a reminder that that's for edit. You know, I use this in edit mode for being able to move things relative to a normal. Now we're getting a little long here. We're at 8 minutes, so let's say that's it for now.
Okay. Bye.